Hey, Washington Commanders Nation, today I bring news that's stirring up the NFL behind the scenes and promises to make our offense even more explosive. Can you imagine our rookie Jayden Daniels with a powerful new weapon on offense? Well, the latest draft simulation brings an idea that could change the game for the Commanders. If you want to understand why this pick could transform our team into a real title contender, stay with me until the end. And of course, drop a like and subscribe to the channel because you won't want to miss any updates about our team. Now let's get to what matters. Despite criticism and ups and downs, the Washington Commanders are finding ways to win this season. And one of the reasons is Jayden Daniels' incredible performance, who's already shown he can be the franchise's future. However, to truly compete at a high level, we need to give him the right pieces. And this is exactly where Emeka Egbuka comes in, a talented and versatile wide receiver who could be the perfect complement to Terry McLaurin. Speaking of McLaurin, the guy is having his best season since entering the league. With 11 touchdowns and still 3 games remaining, he's already broken his personal record. His connection with Daniels has been the backbone of our offense, but let's be honest, McLaurin is carrying the weight alone. Our WR2 Noah Brown has contributed, but with only 453 yards and 1 touchdown this season, we know we need more to challenge opposing defenses. And this is where Emeka Egbuka fits like a glove. During his career at Ohio State, he stood out as one of the best WR2s in the NCAA. He's the type of player who can make defenses pay dearly if they focus too much on McLaurin. With reliable hands and an incredible ability to run routes, Egbuka would be the ideal partner to create a dynamic and unpredictable offense. Just imagine the impact this Buckeyes duo could have on the field. It would be a nightmare for any opposing secondary. But what would this pick mean for Jayden Daniels? Simple, an even stronger arsenal. With McLaurin and Egbuka side by side, he would have options to distribute the game and put more pressure on defenses. Daniels has already shown he has the talent to be this franchise's leader, but giving him the right tools can accelerate his development even further and, who knows, take us far in the playoffs. The offseason promises to be crucial, and all decisions need to be spot on. Now, this is a special and unmissable talk, because if you missed Week 15's game against the Saints, you need to know, we have a true silent killer on defense, and his name is Marshon Latimore. Yes, my friends, the guy came back after weeks out with a tendon injury, and look, he came back with a vengeance. In this video, we'll talk about his debut, the huge impact he's already made, and what we can expect going forward. So stay with me until the end, because there are many important details. And if you're a true Commanders fan, drop a like and subscribe to the channel to not miss any updates. Let's go! After being away for so long, there was some doubt about how much Marshon Latimore could impact the game. After all, he had been sidelined since Week 8 and was returning against the New Orleans Saints, his former team. And wouldn't you know it, the guy played like he never left? On the field, he not only locked down an entire side of the opposing offense, but also forced the Saints to look for other alternatives. Result? Not a single target was even thrown in his direction. That's peak elite cornerback play. When a defender makes the opposing offense give up on playing to his side, you know you've got a monster on the field. And let's be honest, it's been a while since we've had someone like that. Now, for those just joining and don't know the story, the Saints traded Latimore before the 2024 trade deadline. In other words, he had special motivation to show them the mistake they made. And it didn't take long to prove it. Even after weeks of inactivity, he played 96% of defensive snaps. Impressive for a return. That's 53 snaps where he basically nullified any threat coming from the other side. He's the type of player whose value you only realize when he's on the field and makes everything easier for the defense. Were you also impressed with his debut? Because honestly, I already see Latimore as one of the best additions of the year. Latimore's debut was everything Commanders fans hoped for, and then some. No team knows Latimore better than the Saints, and yet they couldn't do anything against him. This is a warning for future opponents. It's not every day that a player can command such respect from the opposing offense just by being on the field. And the most incredible part? This was just his debut with the Commanders. With the tight schedule and the playoff race more intense than ever, having a cornerback of this caliber could be the difference between moving forward or staying behind. But my friends, the challenge only gets bigger. Next week, Latimore will face none other than A.J. Brown, the Eagles' star wide receiver. And that's not all. Devonta Smith, another elite receiver, will also be on the other side. Look, if there's one matchup I'm curious to see, it's this one. A.J. Brown is physical, dominant, and has been a headache for the Commanders in recent years. But now we have Latimore, a guy who doesn't back down from anyone. The regular season is in its final stretch, and this game against the Eagles will show his true impact on defense. Another important point is that, alongside Latimore, other players have also grown. Mike Sainristil, a rookie chosen in the second round, has shown impressive performance, and Noah Igbinoghene has been standing out in the slot. Suddenly, one of the Commanders' biggest weaknesses has started to transform into a strength. And this couldn't come at a better time, because facing a team like the Philadelphia Eagles and neutralizing their passing game is the kind of test that defines a real defense. Now think about it. If the Commanders can contain the Eagles and show they're not easy prey, that sends a clear message to the league. And, more importantly, it could be a direct warning to the Eagles themselves, because it's quite possible these two rivals will meet again in the playoffs. If Latimore and company do a good job on Sunday, who knows if we're not seeing the beginning of something really special. After all, the guy came to solve a problem we've had for years. A razor-thin 2019 victory that left a lot up in the air. But was this win enough to fill us with confidence heading into the final stretch of the season? Today, we'll analyze everything, from the mysterious clock stoppage that almost cost us the game, to the problems on the offensive line and defense. And of course, I want to hear your opinion at the end. So subscribe to the channel, drop your like, and let's understand together what's going on with our team. The Commanders started with full force. In the first half, Jayden Daniels showed why he's a key piece in the offense, connecting 2 touchdown passes with Terry McLaurin. We were dominating, building a 17-0 lead until mid-third quarter. But, as every fan knows, nothing comes easy for the Washington Commanders. In the second half, the story began to change, and the Saints, led by backup quarterback Spencer Rattler, almost spoiled our party. But what stood out most was the clock stoppage controversy. Hold on, I'm getting to that point. The clock issue was surreal. At the end of the game, with only 9 seconds remaining, the clock inexplicably stopped for 3 to 4 seconds. This gave the Saints enough time to spike the ball and prepare one last play. Result? Touchdown. Luckily, they failed on the 2-point conversion attempt, and we held on for the win. After the game, Coach Dan Quinn commented on the error, but let's be honest, it's hard to swallow such a basic mistake at such a crucial moment. As a fan, I keep wondering, do these things only happen to us? Now let's talk reality. This victory put us at a 9-5 record for the season, which seems great, right? But if we look closely, the situation isn't that comfortable. Our upcoming schedule is brutal. We'll face the Eagles, Falcons, and Cowboys. And we know that any slip-up could cost us our playoff spot. Coach Dan Quinn will need a lot of creativity to overcome these challenges and adjust the team, especially on the offensive line and defense, which have shown concerning flaws. Speaking of adjustments, we need to discuss our offensive line. Giving up 8 sacks to the Saints is unacceptable. New Orleans hadn't had more than 4 sacks in any game this season, and yet, our protection was simply disastrous. Without a solid line, it's difficult for Jayden Daniels to have time to throw, and for Brian Robinson Jr. to establish the running game. Tyler Biadaz's absence at center was felt, but that doesn't explain everything. The problem is structural. If we don't fix this now, we can kiss the playoffs goodbye. Another concerning point is the defense. In the second half, the Commanders often seem to lose energy. Against the Saints, we led 17-0 but allowed them to get back in the game and almost defeat us. This isn't new. In several games this season, we've seen our team falter down the stretch. Defensive coordinator Joe Witt is under pressure, and rightfully so. He needs to find a way to adjust the defense during halftime because, as it stands, we'll suffer even more in decisive games. And what about the Saints' quarterback change? When Spencer Rattler came in, it seemed like we were facing a completely different team. They gained momentum, confidence, and changed the game. Saints coach Darren Rizzi commented that this change gave the team the energy they needed. This exposed a clear problem in our defense: the difficulty in adapting to quick changes. If we can't stop a backup quarterback, how are we going to face other teams in the coming weeks? We're in the playoff hunt, but with many issues to resolve. The officiating, offensive line, defensive inconsistency. All of this needs to be adjusted now. Because in December and January football, every detail matters. Coach Dan Quinn acknowledged this and said the team is battle-hardened, but will that be enough? So fans, what do you think? With all these problems, can we hold on to our playoff spot? Or will these flaws cost us dearly in the final stretch? Leave your opinion in the comments, subscribe to the channel to not miss any analysis, and let's root together for better days for the Washington Commanders. Let's go.